Hey, everybody. Hey, if you didn't get a chance, tune into the sermon and watch this last week's sermon. I talked about humility, and so I want to go a little bit further on humility with you, just for a little bit. Most of us would agree that humility is a good attribute. Most of us would say, I'd love to see that in especially the people that I'm around, because the opposite effect, anyone that you've got around you that's not humble, just flat out is annoying to be around. So let me share this with you, and I think this is important. Colossians chapter 3, verse 12. Colossians 3:12. Since God chose you to be the holy people he loves, you must clothe yourselves with, okay, so now you're about to see a list, or hear a list. You must clothe yourselves with tenderhearted mercy, kindness, humility, gentleness, and patience. Now you've maybe heard those before. I want to focus in on it. It just said that since God chose you to be holy and the holy people that we are, he wants you to clothe yourself with humility. So the expectation about humility is not just for other people, it's for you. Okay, let's accept that. Let's just own it right now, that you and I have God expecting of us to be humble. Now the difficult task becomes, how do you actually get there? That's what I want to talk about. There's a story of, and it's true, a pastor in India. A gentleman didn't set up an appointment, just kind of came into the office, barged in, found out where he was, and began to berate the pastor, yelling at him, literally screaming at him, telling him accusations that were not true. None of it was true, actually. It's just how this person felt, and just yelling and yelling and yelling and yelling. So the pastor sits there and takes it, right? It's just happening. It's being yelled at. The guy eventually stops yelling and says, so what are you going to say about what I just told you? So all right, your turn now. The pastor says, can I have a second? Pastor goes into the other room, comes back into the room with a bucket of water and a towel. The guy's like, what are you doing and what's that for? And the pastor begins to say, obviously, I have hurt you. I don't agree with what you said. I don't think it's even true. But you are hurt. I've hurt you. So I want to ask for your forgiveness. And some of you right now, you get tuned off by that. You're like, he didn't do anything wrong. If the pastor didn't do anything wrong, why does he have to say, I'm sorry? Well, it's not that he has to say, I'm sorry, but he's trying to do something. He's showing humility. He's saying, I'm hurt you, and I'm sorry that you're hurt. I'm sorry that happened. That grieves me. I would like to wash your feet. So it seems a bit awkward. And the guy breaks down. He's like, I didn't expect that response. Literally, the pastor, whether he felt it or not, chose humility in the moment. He could have defended himself, re-argued, broke down the person's argument, blah, blah. He chose humility whether he felt it. So when I read to you Colossians 3:12 that says that God wants you and I to clothe ourselves with humility, I'd like to read to you what it says before it says to clothe yourself with humility. If you go to verse 5, Colossians 3:5, so put to death the sinful, earthly things lurking within you. Put to death the things that lurk in you that are sinful. Have nothing to do with sexual immorality, impurity, lust, and evil desires. Don't be greedy, for a greedy person is an idolater, worshiping the things of this world. Listen, there are things that we have to put to death in order to be humble. Let that resonate. I wonder if you have an argument that you want to make, but it's not, you're going to do it in a humble way. It's very prideful. Maybe what you put to death is, maybe you don't post that. Maybe you have a conversation going, you know what, we disagree, but I love you. See, you and I have to actually choose humility for us to become humble people. So there is your urging this week. Don't just wait for humility to show up and evolve in your soul. I think you have to choose it day in and day out. Sometimes you don't say what you want to say. Sometimes you don't defend yourself. You love people. And humility will actually begin to be something that's described as what you are clothed in. So choose it this week, over and over and over again. And maybe one day, accidentally, intentionally, you'll be a humble person.